This is a review of the 2013 Audi Q5. Now, I've owned this car for about 10,000 miles and 8 months, and so far I've got to say I'm really impressed with this car. I've owned several Audis in the past, and I've always had kind of a love-hate relationship with them where I love the way that they drive, I love the quality. When I was younger, I got really frustrated with the high upkeep costs, and so I kind of went away from the Audi for a while and tested a lot of different types of vehicles and just really didn't feel like there was anything else quite like an Audi, and decided to go ahead and take my chances again buying another Audi. And so I went with this 2013 Q5, and so far I've been extremely happy with my choice. It's one of my favorite cars that I've owned. And so I'm just gonna go over some details about the vehicle, some of the things that I really like, a couple things that I wish might be a little different, and then just kind of overview of the car. So the Audi Q5 first came out in 2008. It was produced until 2012, and then they made some minor updates to it in 2012, carried that generation through 2016, and then they came out with a fully refreshed version for 2017. Now, a few of the changes that they made from the 2012 to 2013 model, the grille, they made some minor updates to that, and then on the headlights, you've got different style of LED than you had in the older ones, and then it's kind of the same thing on the rear of the vehicle. They went with an updated style of LED tail lights on the Q5 to give it a little bit slicker look than the older version. They also updated some of the engine variants on the Q5. So it was originally offered with either a 2-liter turbo or a 3.2 liter V6. In 2013 they updated that, put in a new 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder. This is the 3.0 turbocharge, and then sorry, not turbocharged. I will show you why I said that. This is one of the things I don't like about the Q5. So you got the 3.0T. Typically on an Audi that would mean turbo. With the 3.0T, it's actually supercharged. So who knows why they use the T. So anyway, this is a 3-liter supercharge. The 2-liter is turbocharged. They also produced a hybrid version for a while. The fuel savings wasn't that significant on the hybrid version, and so they have stopped producing it since. Sales were not very good. And then they also had the TDI version, which was a diesel, and because of some of the emissions scandal with Volkswagen and Audi, that model is no longer produced either. So not real significant changes. They also made a few changes to the interior with the 2013. Nothing significant, but just a few of the gear shifters shaped a little differently. You've got different steering wheel options, and just a few other little trim pieces that are a little different between the two. So it handles really nice. It drives a lot like a car, but then you've got that extra added clearance under the vehicle where if you've got some deeper snow or you want to go off on a dirt road or something, it's capable of doing that. So I really like that about the Q5. I like the styling. I think it's got a really nice look. I would have really seriously considered the Q7 when they first came out with those, but I felt that it was just kind of almost looked like an A6 that was lifted and stretched out. Not to say that the styling is too different with the Q5, but I think the proportions are a little bit better on the Q5 than what you get with the Q7. So I really like that. The nice dual exhaust on the rear of the Q5. Now the Q5 does have a power lift gate, so that automatically opens. Not a huge amount of storage space in the back, but it's, you know, it's fairly adequate for, you know, for being a kind of small, mid-sized crossover. Not too terrible. One of the things I really like about the car, and I can't show you because I've got a car seat in the front that will prevent it from fully functioning, but you've got a lever here where the seat will fall flat, and then when you want it to come back up, you can also pull that lever and it brings the seat back up. So I think that's kind of a nice feature. To close the back, you've got the button here to automatically close. And what's nice also up here is, so you can lower the seat with that lever in the back, but you've also got a lever down here on the bottom that you can pull up on, and it will also drop down. The seat also can recline backward by using this lever, and then under the seat here you have the option to move the seat forward or back, and so you can get a little bit added leg room, or you can get a little more cargo space on the back depending on your needs. We do have the Recaro car seat in the back, which is a perfect fit for the Audi. I was pretty excited to be able to find one of those to go with the Q5. Now, most of the Q5s do come with the factory rails and crossbars. So it's kind of a nice feature. Most rack systems are kind of being designed with a universal size where they can fit onto any type of bars these days, and so that's nice. We've also got the panoramic sunroof on the top. Now, this Q5 is fitted with the Sport package, which gives you a little bit added trim down at the skirt of the vehicle. You get the larger 20-inch rims, which was really my main incentive going with the Sport. I think that adds a really nice look to the vehicle. On the inside, you got Sport seats. Also really like those. So there's a little bit added support on the sides, both for the rear and the back. And then you got this insert that, with the pull of this lever, slides forward and backward, and so it offers your legs a little bit more sport. So that's kind of nice. Got the S-line badging with the Sport package, so it gives a nice sleek look. One of the things that I really like about the Q5 is even like these little levers, or if you look up, you know, just at every little button feature, got that parking brake. I feel like Audi, where they really shine, is that the attention to detail on every little piece of the vehicle is just superb. I really like that about the Audi. I mentioned that I got a little bit tired with the repairs on the Audi. They're not necessarily any less reliable or prone to having problems than a typical vehicle, but when things go wrong, they're expensive. And so that's kind of the trade-off is, you know, you're paying a little bit more for upkeep, but you're getting a car that's really well designed, has a really nice quality feel to it, and it's just a lot of fun to drive. And so I kind of got to the point where I decided it was worth it to me to have a little bit added expense on the vehicle, to be able to just kind of, you know, enjoy driving it a little more. Now, the other thing that the Sport package comes with is this Drive Select, which once the vehicle's on, I'll show you that. There's different modes where you can put it in Sport mode, which is called Dynamic. You've got a Comfort mode, and there's an individual mode. And I'll go through some more details on that. So inside, like I was saying, just really nice attention to detail. It's very comfortable, quiet, has just a really nice feel to it. Panoramic sunroof is a really nice feature as well. Now, if we, well, one of the things I didn't mention, and going along with the attention to detail that I like, is the Audi key. Even the key's got a really nice quality look and feel to it. So this is a smart key, which allows me to use the push button to start the vehicle. There's also an insert here where I can insert the key in to start the car. But one of the things that I really like about the smart key is that you've got this little feature here where if I just tap my finger to that, the alarm goes on, mirrors go up. And so, and then again, if you come up to the vehicle, you put your hand here, it will automatically unlock. And the rear tailgate works the same way. And what I really like about that is that if I'm going skiing and it's really cold outside and try to get all my gloves on and everything, I can do that in the vehicle. I can put the key, kind of tuck it away inside my jacket. And then when I get out of the car and wind's blowing, snow's blowing, and it's really cold, I don't have to worry about getting my gloves on and tucking my key away because I've already done that. All I've got to do is tap my glove up against the side of the door and it locks the doors for me. And so that's really nice. Likewise, if you go to the grocery store and you're walking out with several bags of groceries, and you come up to the vehicle, you don't have to worry about getting your key out of your pocket to open the doors. You can just put your hand by the door handle, automatically unlocks, and you don't have to worry about dropping any groceries or trying to find your key. And so I really like those features of that smart key. So let's go ahead and take the vehicle for a drive. I'll go over a few more of the features in the vehicle and just things that I really like about the Q5. So as I mentioned, with the sport key, you can just go ahead and push your foot on the brake, tap the start button, vehicle turns on, mirrors go into position if they were up for being locked. Electronic parking brake, you just push down on that, that shuts the parking brake off, and we are good to go. So go ahead and close the windows so the sound quality is a little better. Get some air conditioning on because it's a little on the chilly or warm side here today. Now I mentioned that there's a few different drive modes that you can adjust with this drive select button. So when I push on the drive select, up here on the center console, it shows me what mode I'm in. So if I'm in comfort mode, acceleration is going to be pretty standard, just kind of the default setting for acceleration and gear shifting. The steering is going to be a little bit more loose. It's going to be, you know, maybe a bit better for highway driving, where you're just going to have a little bit of play in it, and you're not going to feel every you know, bump or pothole in the road. It's going to absorb a little bit of that. Now if we tap the button again, we put it into auto. Now auto is going to automatically adjust between either comfort or dynamic mode. And it's going to adjust based off of your driving style. And so if you're driving really aggressively, then it's going to automatically adjust to dynamic. And if you're driving just you know, kind of normal, it's going to go to the comfort mode. So the dynamic mode, which we're going to go into now, once you go into dynamic mode, the steering really tightens up. It's a lot more stiff, not as much play in the steering. You're feeling a lot more of the road surface in the dynamic mode. And then the other option that we've got is individual. So if we put it into individual, the way that that works, you can adjust that in the car computer, and you can choose the settings that you prefer. So if you like really stiff steering all the time, but maybe you don't want it to be accelerating really fast and using more fuel in that dynamic mode, so you could adjust it to where you say, okay, I want to have that really stiff steering, but I don't want to have the you know, quicker acceleration. So you can go through the settings and you can adjust that in your individual setting. So it's kind of a nice feature to have. Vehicle's equipped with all of your standard options. You've got Bluetooth for making hands-free calling. There's a CD player. You can do either through the Bluetooth or connection in the glove box. You can listen to music through your cell phone. Vehicle has navigation, radio obviously. It's got a backup camera, parking sensors on the front and rear of the vehicle so that you can see when there's objects that you're close to. It'll give you a warning on that. Obviously everything's power. You got your power windows, door locks, mirrors, you know, all the standard features that you would expect to have in a luxury vehicle. The drive select mode, I did mention that is an option that's not available on all vehicles. That's part of the sport package in this case, along with the seats, the wheels, and you know, some of that S-Line badging. Now I was mentioning that the Q5 drives really nice. It's really got a nice car-like feel to it, where, you know, it's just really agile, smooth, accelerates nicely, it's very quiet. Obviously, it's more of a car than an SUV. You're not going to be taking a Q5 off-road in most cases. It does have a few built-in features, like hill descent control. You know, obviously Audis are very well known for their all-wheel drive systems. It drives excellent in the snow and ice with snow tires. We'll add that on. We had just some standard all-season tires on the vehicle originally, and it was very uncomfortable. Every once in a while it would just kind of, the rear end of the vehicle would just kind of slide out. Very odd. I've owned many Audis and really have actually never had snow tires on any car that I've owned. And with the Q5, for some reason, didn't really handle too well without those snow tires, but once it had the snow tires, it was incredible. The other thing that's really nice, I mentioned that this one has the 3-liter supercharger in it. The acceleration in this car is impressive. Let's go ahead and put it into that dynamic mode to show that off. The 0 to 60 time is 5.5 seconds, which is really good for a vehicle of this size. You can see it accelerates really quickly. So we're already up to 70 miles an hour. Unfortunately, our speed limits are 55, so it won't be able to go much beyond that. But it's very responsive, very quick. A lot of fun to drive. Sometimes I almost feel like it's a little bit more power than you really need for just typical driving. It is really nice when we go on a long road trip and we're driving on interstate highways. Living in a rural community where we don't have a lot of high-speed interstates or highway driving doesn't come in quite as handy. The one time that it's nice is driving up to the mountain. We're climbing a few thousand feet, pretty good inclines along the way, and the car can drive whatever speed you want without effort. And so I do really like that about it. With that said, I think if I were to do it over again, I'd probably go with the just the 2-liter 4-cylinder. Those are, you know, drive really nice as well, have a lot of power, but you're going to get a lot better gas mileage. So gas mileage numbers between the two vehicles, if you go with the 2-liter 4-cylinder, you're probably going to be getting about 20 in the city, high 20s, you know, probably about 28 miles per gallon on the highway. With the 3-liter, it's rated at 18 miles per gallon in the city, 23 miles per gallon on the, 26 miles per gallon on the highway. And so you definitely take a little bit of a hit in the gas mileage arena with the Q5, with the 3-liter, sorry. I'd say that what we've kind of seen right now, we're getting about 24 miles per gallon since I've been driving it. I'd say we typically average about 25 or 26. So it actually does tend to get on that higher end. I very rarely see us getting down in that 18 mile per gallon range. But still, you're probably looking at about a 3 to 5 mile per gallon difference between the 4-cylinder and the 6-cylinder. And really, you know, depending on your driving habits, 6-cylinder might not be necessary. But it is fun. I appreciate that. Now, one other thing that the vehicle has, and we'll see if it'll do it right now. Actually, it won't because of the air conditioning. But if I didn't have the air conditioning on, it's got automatic start-stop built into the vehicle. And so what that does is when you're sitting at a stop, at say a stoplight or a stop sign, or you get to a parking lot and you forget to turn the car off immediately, the engine actually will turn off and the vehicle will run on the battery temporarily. Now, what I've found is that the system doesn't work as well when you're using other energy-intensive features of the vehicle. So if you've got the AC or heat or even the fan, really, it often won't activate. And so it just depends on how many things are running in the vehicle. It could also be, if you got the heated seats on, that might prevent the start-stop from working as well. And so sometimes I'll turn off those features when I'm, you know, in more congested areas where there's an opportunity to save some fuel. But it's kind of a nice feature. It makes you feel a lot better when you're sitting at a standstill at a stoplight to not be using that fuel. I don't think that the fuel savings is really that significant in the scheme of things, but you know, it's probably somewhere between a half to 1 mile per gallon over the course of a tank, so I'll take it. It's not bad. So one of the other things that I really like about the Audi Q5 is that the factory sound system is incredible. When I was buying this vehicle, I was a little bit concerned about getting the factory system and really wanted to find a Q5 that had the Bang & Olufsen system, which offers a few additional speakers and higher quality components. But when I found this vehicle, it had everything else that I wanted at a pretty good price, and so I decided that I could live without the Bang & Olufsen system, and I have no regrets about it. The factory system has really nice range of sound, really high quality at the higher and lower notes, and just really impressive for a factory system. Nothing like what you'll find in just about any other brand of vehicle. If you're looking at getting a brand new Q5, you're probably going to be spending somewhere between about $45,000 and $55,000. If you can wait just a couple of years, you can get a used Q5 with relatively low mileage anywhere between about 27,000 and say 35,000. So somewhere in that range. For me, I went with a Q5 that's got a little bit higher mileage in order to get that sport package and the 3-liter turbo. Man, that turbo always gets me, the supercharger. And so I bought it with 60,000 miles. Like I said, I've put 10,000 miles on it, so we're right up at about 70,000 miles. One thing I'm happy to report about is in those 10,000 miles and 8 months of use, we have not had any issues with the vehicle yet. So everything on the vehicle has been completely flawless. Everything works. I know that down the road something's going to happen, but just hoping that that expensive repair will take as long as possible to happen. I did mention that I've owned Audis in the past, and in general they actually were pretty reliable. I did have a 2009 A4 that at about 30,000 miles did break down on me. So that was really disappointing to have such a new car with issues. Fortunately, it was still under warranty, and I sold the car before the warranty expired. But I also had a 2003 Audi A4 that I got to 165,000 miles on. I did have to spend some money on maintenance, but at 165,000 miles, it was incredibly impressive how smooth and quiet the ride was, how well all the materials in the cabin had held up. Even, you know, exterior paint and components on the vehicle, they really just seemed to really hold up well for a vehicle that had that many miles. And so that's one of the things that I really like about Audis, is even though they get this bad reputation for expensive repairs and lots of repairs, the materials and the body components, they really hold up well. And so in a lot of ways, they're a vehicle that's worth putting money into maintaining. You don't necessarily get that with some of the cheaper vehicles that are available on the market, where they might be really reliable, but some of the quality of the materials just isn't really there. I experienced that with my last car, which is a Subaru, where Subarus, they have great reputations for reliability, but at the same time, the car just felt a little bit cheap in some ways. So that's kind of an overview of the Q5. If you have any questions about the Q5, leave them in the comments below. I'm happy to share some of my input. Here's an example of the start-stop, so you can see that the vehicle is now off because I've got the brake on and I just turned the air conditioning off. Now when I let off the brake to pull into the garage, it's going to turn back on. So it's a nice feature. But what I was saying was, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If there are any things that you would like to know about the Q5, any videos that you'd be interested in watching, leave that in the comments below, and I'd be happy to put together a video sharing more about the Q5. So in any case, subscribe for more videos on the Q5. I've got plenty more planned. So take care.